maybe I'm jumping the gun and responding to this video because, well, I didn't think I'd even want to respond, but I've been trying to sleep and I'm reading the comments and just thinking about people's assumptions and the way that they took the email and the way some things were clearly stated but were ignored, or I guess you could, I think most people would be able to come up with a conclusion that it's just the conclusions are so off from, or maybe not so off from, but when I read it from my perspective, if I'm pretending to be someone that's reading it, the points that I would point out are not the points that people are pointing out. And it's just an interesting narrative experience. I requested video mostly to see Aaron talk. I think it's just like it's kind of like a niche celeb thing, like, oh my god, there's the person talking, and that's my email. And, I mean, curiosity of the comments, but I guess I didn't realize that it would be so giving myself to the audience, which is silly. And such a particular audience that already has so much kind of against me because of my gender, and that is also like one of the points I made, is where all this vitriol and bitterness and hate, and you can say it's justified or whatever, being aimed at me when I clearly stated that I have not dated. So you're treating me as part of your past. And I don't want this video to be like, oh, I need to get on the internet and defend myself. It's just something I want to think out loud about. And I can react to some of the comments. Also, there's so many details that have to be cut or can't be explained in the way that would benefit my side, because the emails are priced by link, and this was $75. 70 for the email, and it's 75 if you want a video response. So, I mean, I could have explained every single detail and my definition of marriage, my definition of love, and a relationship, or what I believe, but then the email would have been so long. Like, what if Aaron had rejected it for it being too long, or if it had been like $500? Like, I'm sorry, you guys, I don't have $500 for you to be on my side. And I think even if it was like a $500 email, people want to experience a type of emotion, experience a type of reaction, so they would just use the email for whatever it gains them, which is just something to talk at. So she wants to get married, not marry her guy and have his babies. That's the crux of it. It's on her checklist to tick off for status and her dream life. She's also lazy and work avoidant, hence stay-at-home mom spiel. No, I didn't want children, but then I thought to myself, like, if there was a man that I really, really loved, I think I would just inherently want children, because I would love him so much that I would want a part of him forever, and that would be the baby in my womb, and the baby itself would be us together as a reflection of that love. And I think there is something beautiful about like the eternalness, or the proposition, the appearance of eternalness of marriage. Maybe that's just too fairy tale, but I love that idea of being so in love that you want to get married, and being so in love that you'd have children. And if I had children, I would prefer to be a stay-at-home mom, because I don't want to let random schools and teachers babysit my children. And I align perfectly with Aaron in that opinion. And it's just funny, like, seeing things that you would think the men would like, suddenly become risks. And it's like, women don't want to get married, so we hate them now. And then I'm saying, I want to get married. And they're saying, but you don't want to get married for the right reasons. Or, well, we're not marrying you. Or, like, women don't want to have children because they don't understand that that's like biologically what they're meant to do. And I'm saying, I believe following my biology will help me. And they're saying, no, you are just being lazy. And being a stay at home mom would be doing nothing. Like, what if this is why I've had trouble with work and school? Is because this whole time I was meant to be a mom instead. And so much of my life has been about loving things. And I feel like that's just been, my whole life has just been putting things on my heart. And I think that the room I have in my heart might reflect what what I'm capable of and have to spend on a child. Woman hits 30, decides working and being a tax slave for the rest of her life sucks, and now wants a sperm donor to look after her. I think sperm donor, that's very immature. I don't use that nickname. I don't that's not how I see men. And in the beginning I explained that my dad was incarcerated and my mom, like, all my siblings are half siblings. My mom never married. So why wouldn't the opposite of how I was raised be like seductive to me? It's like when goody kids become rebellious because you want the opposite of what you have. So somehow me wanting convention is bad and I don't deserve it. But I've always wanted to get married. So you're saying a decision I made as a child even was hypocritical or is made up or is a lie, and suddenly I just woke up and realized I was an old hag that hit the wall and I wanted to get married. She's got nothing to offer a man next. I mean, I don't disagree. That's why I listed all my liabilities. I don't think I'm a very prospective person, but that's kind of been the whole point of my life. I've always felt in some semblance worthless or a mistake. And I just spent 10 years of prime womanly youth trying to figure out myself. And I spent a lot of time defining God and the universe and a lot of spiritual things that most people don't get to until later in life. So I think my life is just a bit backwards, and I try not to see it as I missed out and I can't get a man or a husband. But I did things. I did what was supposed to be done earlier, and I'm doing what needed to be done earlier later, and that's all I can do. Like, I can't blame myself. I'm not gonna hate myself the way that other people might think I should hate myself because I've already done that. And this is all just a story. I mean, none of the, like, who knows what's gonna happen, you guys. Friends on them all at 20, I'll bet. Actually, after high school, I stopped talking to everyone I went to high school with, and I just have I just have online female friends. Um, the people that appear interested in me are some guys that stare. One guy that would stare at me at work. I recently found out he was dating someone at work already, and he has a child, and the girl he was dating has a child. So they're just single parents or separated parents, and I don't want to get involved in that. Plus, I wasn't interested in him. Um, for some reason, like, teenage boys will be the ones to be interested in me when I'm walking outside. So that's nothing. And the no, that's too specific. I won't share that one. But I'm not asked out in public, which is fine. It's just like I can't friend zone anyone. I don't have people to friend zone. I mean, if I friend zoned someone, it probably was when I was in high school, and looking back, now I realize, oh, that person liked me. So I have thought about going to church, but I feel like that just might be too much of a lie, or I mean, it's not genuine because maybe I can find someone adjacent to that. I wouldn't mind that I'm not so clearly into the beliefs and I'm not going to read the Bible or whatever scripture. But I have thought about that. I do need some hobbies. Previously, I just liked media stuff or going to concerts, but I'm in a phase where the things that have interested me don't interest me. And like I said, I've been stuck in this philosophy type of investigating, so I've detached from a lot of personality, identity type stuff, and I was even going to make a video that kind of touched on like the spectacle of personality. So I do agree that it's a problem I have right now is I want connection, but I'm not sure how to connect with people, like the topics, and some people are just too far into their side. Like, I'm, oh, and if anyone listens to this, they'll be like, well, of course she's single, she's crazy. Also, this idea, the comments are like she's lazy. I mean, I do agree. I don't have as much initiative or motivation, and but I mean, I do work my 40 hours in my average job. Like the millions and millions of people, the billions of people, most of us are just average, and we just do the average jobs. Like, I'm sorry. That's a very skewed audience too, because you guys, if you're listening to Aaron's advice, you're probably engineers and like real men with real jobs, and you probably have like a big ego boost, which maybe I guess you deserve, but you already see yourself as the more deserving 1%. So obviously, I'm like nothing to you, but that doesn't mean like other average guys don't exist. Like, I can just find someone that works in retail. I mean, I'm not the stay-at-home mom thing. I mean, it's just an idea. It's just an idea of a dream. I think I was just more curious of how Aaron would answer than a total fix all. And yeah, it's just funny because the things he mostly lists will be you have to be skinny, you have to have long hair, you have to be feminine, you can't nag, and I'm like, hey, I'm either some of those things or it can be those things. I can lose the weight and be like true skinny, and I'm not a nagger. I feel like because my mom was so nagging that she just sucked any of the possibility of me being a nagger. I feel like I'm a friendly, nice person. So I mean, I know I could do it all. It's just I haven't yet. Man, that was just about as lackluster as possible. From history to the writing skills, it's just boring. It makes me think you haven't worked hard towards much of anything. Just another chick who did nothing and is hoping to meet a man at the finish line of his hard work. It's too late. The damage of being the feminist has already been done. You can't just flip flop like that. It screams liability to us. Good luck, though, honestly. And then there's so many comments about like once you've slept around, And but didn't you guys get the memo that I haven't? I really like that point about my writing skills. You can't just flip flop like that. Well, I'm sorry. I'm sorry that the feminist got to me when I was a teen, and then I flopped. I didn't flip flop. I flopped once. I changed my mind once, and now I'm out of it. I'm apolitical. I'm non-feminist. I have no identity, and but that's one thing I also know about myself is that I don't appear to be a very, I don't have a huge resume of personal achievement or like hobbyist achievements because everything like the time I've spent the most has been in my mind. So the things that I've changed have been mental and my processes and my insights. So it's hard, you're right, it looks like I have nothing to show, but I have so many journals and blog posts and commentary on things, and I guess that's just what I offer to my existence. It's something that comes natural to me, and that's where my personality lays. That's where I don't know. I don't know how I can offer that to someone, but that's who I am instead of golfing and dancing and rooting for a sports team or stuff like that. I have been wanting to fish again. Aaron suggested fishing. I have been wanting to fish again, but I also wanted someone to do it with because I don't really remember all the things. So when I get some stuff in order, maybe I will go on a fishing date. By 32, Bruce Lee was an icon with total fitness, and she wants to be a housewife. That is funny. That's very funny. I am being compared to Bruce Lee. Also, never mind. Never been in a relationship and still wants to be a mom. Start with the relationship, still delusional. And then I like Joe Andrews' reply, nothing wrong with a young woman that loves babies and wants to be a mother someday. Just hope she can find a good man to settle down with and marry and stay with forever and be a good wife too. That's very cute. Thank you. Thank you, Joe. I agree. I don't understand why Shake and Bake thinks wanting to be a mom is delusional. I'm a woman. That's about as natural as it can get. And then like the first 5 comments are just very like, who gets married? Nobody wants to get married, and marriage is war, and very reactionary to the title, I guess. Which maybe I should get my letter then. Yeah, I know I wasted time essentially, but I guess you'd have to be me, and you'd have to have felt what I felt at that time, which was after graduating. It really felt like if I moved, everything beneath me would crumble. Like I had to stay so still and do the same job and have the same day over and over and over again. Because if I took a step anywhere else, I would free fall. So I was so concerned with my mental stability and taking care of myself because I had moved out of my mom's place, which was like government subsidized. So there was nowhere to go. I don't have savings. There's nobody in my family to borrow from, so I'm not trying to be like, this is the saddest story ever, but at that age, in that circumstance with confusion, I was just alone, and that's it. Like, it sucks and it could have went differently. And you kind of think like, well, other people handle aloneness better. Like immigrants come over here alone and they just work 3 times as hard. And that I was working as hard as I could at my capacity of emotions and stuff. Like, I could be dead now. And I think the lack of guidance had me at a certain job for way too long. And there was no one to meet there. There was one man, but he had a girlfriend. So it's just, that's how my life worked out. And I'm not asking for a time machine. I just know it's not the most convenient, or it wasn't the most beneficial. And um, I'm just moving forward. Also, I think I sent the email just to say I exist, because it'd be funny, because I've been in these types of circles for the past couple of years, just watching men create narratives and say that a woman that's 25 already has a body count of 20 and stuff like that, and feeling like such an outlier that I just wanted to pop out and be like, I bet you've never heard this story before. And instead of them believing it, a lot of people are just like, this is a LARP, and thinking that they need an opinion or have a feeling about me or about it. It's not, I know it's not personal, because me, to them, I'm not a person. I'm just, an email. So I'm just a 2D thing. So I'm not a fully constructed person. And my whole life has been condensed to this one thing they see, or rather hear from. So I'm just saying, yeah, someone like me was born and lived, and this is my results. Also, like, some of the parts in here, more humor. Like the according to Reddit rate me thing was more for humor than really thinking like, oh, that matters. So those are the comments for now. Right now it has 3,400 views. And I wanted to see, I wanted to know how many other women have requested videos. I listened to one earlier today. I think it was a Catholic woman from overseas looking for a partner, and she sent in pictures. But that's all I've got to say for now. Maybe I'll have more responses or something later. It's just another thing that took up my time to pass life by. Just another part of my life. My story.